All right, class. So here is your last set of variation questions. So basically our word problems, and generally we have those three steps that we follow for our variation problems. The first step is to find the general equation. Okay, like just reading the description and finding an equation for that. The second step is always to find the constant. Find the constant k. And then the third step is always to use the equation. And just remember that your k that you find here, it always goes back in your general equation, which becomes your um, your equation that you use here. I don't know what all that was, but anyway, the k always goes into your equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the problem. So it says here, the time required to complete a job varies. So for you know that for varies, we always write equals k, and then inversely as the number of people working. So for time, I'm just going to use the variable t, and then the number of people working, I'm just going to use p for number of people working. So t equals k inversely means it gets divided by p. So this is what it would look like. T varies inversely with the number of people working. So that's my first step. And sometimes what I do is I just cross it out because I'm done with this part of the problem. The next part says it took 40 hours for 6 teachers to write a curriculum. So my second step is to find K. So it tells us the time is equal to 40. It took 40 hours. And then there, how many people? Well, it took 6 people, 6 teachers. So I'm going to plug these numbers into here, and then that helps us find K. So you have here T equals K over P. Then I'm going to plug in the numbers. So 40 for T, K over P equals 6. Then we're going to solve here. We're going to solve for K here. So to solve for K, we know we have to multiply both sides by 6. So 6 times 40 is 240 equals K. And then the moment you find what K is, you're going to plug it back in here and then use the equation. So here's just third step. That when you find K right here, you plug it back into this equation. So you have here T equals 40 over P. We finished this part. The last part says now, how long, so we're looking for the time here. How long would it take 4 teachers? Now P turns to 4. It's first it was at 6 people, and now it turned to 4 people. So now we're going to do the problem with these numbers. So T is just T because that's what I'm looking for. 40 over 4. And then now we can solve this by doing 40 divided by 4. So that is 10 hours. So it takes 10 hours for 4 teachers to do the job. Okay, so it took 40 hours for 6 teachers. That doesn't make sense. Hold on. It took 40 hours for 6 people to do the job. How long will it take 4 teachers? Because it should take them longer, right? So let me see if I did this right. So 40 equals 6. So 6 times 40 is, let's check. So 6 times 40 is 240. So K equals 240. Oh, my bad. Look at what I did. K equals 240. And so I should plug 240 here. Not 40. So now what is 240 divided by 240 divided by 4 is 60. So time equals 60 hours. Now that makes more sense, right? If it took 40 hours for 6 teachers to do it, then it will take them 60 hours for 4 teachers to do it because the number of people went down. Okay? All right. Number 2, it says A varies. So whenever you see the word varies, you're going to write equals K. So A equals K. Jointly just means multiplication with B and C. So multiplied by B and C. It says here when A is equal to 120, B is equal to 8, and then C is equal to 12. I'm going to stop here because I can plug all these numbers in here and find what K is. So you have here, here's your first step. Here's your second step to find the number. So you have A, let me just write the equation again. So A is 120, and then you have K times B is 8, and then you have C is 12. So let me simplify this. 8 times 12 is 8 times 12 is 96. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 96. So 120 divided by 96 is 120 divided by 96 is K equals 1.25. And remember that as soon as you find K, so here's my general equation. I'm going to plug this into my K right here, and then I can use it for my third step. So you have A equals K. Now K is 125 um, times B times C. Okay, and then now I'm going to read the rest of my problem. So I'm done with this part, and then I use these numbers to find what K. It says, what is C when A changes to 240.5? I wrote that so ugly. 240.5 equals 1.25, and B is equal to 7. And then I'm just looking for C here. All right, so now I can go ahead and simplify the right side. So I'm going to do 1.25 times 7. 1.25 times 7 is equal to 8.75. And then you have your C. And then we need to solve for C, so we're going to just divide both sides by 8.75. So you have C equals 240.5 divided by 8.75. And you get this answer, and we can go ahead and round it. So you have here 27 point, I'll just put 49. Just do until two numbers. So this is my final answer. It says, what is C? C is equal to that. Okay. All right. Number 3. 3 more problems. It says here, write an equation for the statement m varies inversely with the square of t and directly with the cube of p. So this step is just asking us to write an equation, which is good practice. This is just like page 1. So again, whenever we see the word varies, we're going to write equals k. What equals k? m equals k, so m goes in front of the equal sign, okay? And then inversely, inversely means you're going to do a division bar inversely with the square of t, so t squared. And directly means directly goes in the numerator, directly with the cube of p cubed. Okay, that's it. It's just asking us to write an equation. Number 4, the speed s of a moving object varies, so equals k. So what equals k? S equals k. Varies directly with the distance traveled, so directly means multiplication, and then also varies inversely, so still you have the inversely with the time t. T goes in the denominator. That's my first step. Second step, it says if s is equal to 50, speed is equal to 50, and d, the distance is equal to 20, and the time is equal to 4 hours, it says what is the approximation distance if the speed stays at 50 but time goes to 2? Well, before we do anything, we need to go ahead and find k. So I'm going to take my equation s, so let me just write it down. S equals 50, and then d equals 20 over t equals 4. And so let me just simplify this. 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 5. And then I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So you have k equals 10. And as soon as you find k, you're going to plug it back in here. So that's my third step. So it says s equals, now k is equal to 10 times d over t. It says what is approximate distance, so d, if the speed stays at 50, so my speed stays at 50, but my time changes to 2. All right, we're going to solve for d here. There's a couple of ways. You can get rid of the fraction by multiplying both sides by the reciprocal. So you can do 2 over 10, 2 over 10. So that just, crosses out the 10s, crosses out the 2s, and you just have d by itself. Or you could have just simplified it first and then divided out. It's the same thing. So 2 times 50 divided by 10, 2 times 50 divided by 10, that'd be 100 divided by something, that's 10. So let's see. 2 divided by 10 times 50 is 10. So it equals, distance equals 10. That's my final answer. Okay. All right, last example. Number 5. When resistance varies, so here's my keyword here, varies, so equals k. What equals k? The resistant equals k. I'm just going to use resistant. Jointly, as jointly means multiplication. Jointly as the object surface area. So surface area, I'll just call it A for area. And the velocity, V for velocity. That's it. That looks like a really complicated sentence, but it's just in math. It's simplified like that. It says an object traveling at 40 miles, so 40 miles an hour. So that means that that is the velocity is equal to 40 miles per hour. And a surface area, so my area is equal to 25 feet squared. Experiences a resistance, R is equal to 225. It says find the constant of variation. Whenever it's asking for constant of variation, it's asking you just to find K. Okay? So to find the constant of variation. So I'm going to bring this over so I can plug in my numbers. So you have R equals 225. K, A is 25. And then V is 40. And then I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. 25 times 40 is 25 times 40 is 1000. And then I'm going to divide the 1000 to get k by itself. So you have here 225 divided by 1000. So that is k equals 0.225, and I'm going to stop here because it's asking you for the constant of variation. Constant of variation is the k, the, the k from our equation. Okay?